So I want to introduce everyone to Allison Williams. She is a private client of mine and a total rock star powerhouse in her own business. Why don't you tell everyone what your two businesses are and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So my first business, my first baby is Williams Law Group. It is a family law firm located in Short Hills, New Jersey, where we help clients with all issues involving the family in the legal process, including divorce, child custody, domestic violence, child abuse and neglect, and related issues. I started my law firm in 2013, and through the process of realizing very quickly how difficult it is to be a full-time technician and a full-time business owner, very quickly had an experience of overwhelm and started to work with coaches in order to get my business under control. Very quickly grew my business through applying the right principles and grew my law firm 856% in 4 years. Got to a place of owning a multi-million-dollar business that now runs relatively without me. I'm usually necessary about 5 hours of my week. It can flex as high as 10 hours when we have a lot going on, but for the most part, I have very superior team members that take care of the business while I, as the owner, oversee it all. And through that process, I became a business coach and decided to help lawyers do the same thing. And from that was born the Business Law Firm Mentor, which is my second baby, my second business, which I created in 2018. We help solo and small law firm attorneys to grow their revenues, crush chaos in business, and make more money. This year, we are about 5 times the size that we were last year.
I love it. So good. So the concept of this interview is to give people a sense of what it's like to grow not just one business but two business. Like, what is the biggest difficult thing that you experienced and learned from and moved through?
There's so many areas where you helped me over this past year. I'm much happier now at the end of the year than I was at the beginning. I remember our first VIP day together. I cried for most of it. I was very upset. I was very frustrated with my life. I had gotten to a place of financial success, but it didn't get me the level of personal success that I wanted. At the beginning of our year together, my focus was on, I've got to lose a certain amount of weight. I've got to go out and find someone to love me. I've got to transform, every aspect of my life. What tends to happen is you become happy with yourself and then other things fall in line. I kind of started off on my usual thought process of I've got to fix myself. Over the course of a year, I just grew through getting the business more functionally operational without all of the hard work. I mean, there was still hard work involved in the business, but there wasn't hard work involved in the process of what I was doing. It was more allowing things versus forcing things, being more in the feminine than in the masculine. Through that process, then things started to open up in other areas of my life. By virtue of being more calm and more relaxed and more happy with myself, I was able to find a partner that I care deeply for. I was able to move from having two businesses and having them each have different needs that were pulling at me to just kind of allowing myself space. And I had to really understand the goal is not necessarily to do what you're already doing better, but to reframe and reorganize your thoughts around things so that you can approach it in a wholly different way. I was vibrating at a higher frequency, and so I was attracting things at a higher frequency. And ideas came that were revolutionary. People were different. People's reaction and responses to me were different. How they worked with each other was different. How our clients responded to the way that they were being serviced was different. So the overall quality of the business improved without having necessarily a roadmap of going to do X, Y, and Z on a delineated path. It was much more of just kind of things coming into place as a result of changing the way that we looked at things.
So one question that I think is really important to speak to, and I think you're the perfect person to speak to this. Even before you started working with me, you had two businesses. You are whip smart. You already have a certain level of success in your life. Why would someone who seems to have it all going on, why would she join, sign up for coaching? And now I know you've stepped into the Spirit of Wealth next year, which is fantastic. So excited to have you in there. Yay. Why would you consider that a need?
I've always been aware that I am very afraid of success, even as successful as I am relative to a lot of people. One of the things that I think has always been necessary for me is to have guidance in how to be okay with being successful. Over the course of time, since I've started working with coaches, and in particular, since I started working with you, I've just kind of come to understand that there's a way to be successful without the pain of fearing the underachievement and what's going to happen if you don't. What probably was the most profound part of this process was just understanding if you're already there, you're still not there, because successful people just hunger for more success. And having someone to help me look at things differently is going to help me to be more successful, but more successful in a way that creates more happiness. And I don't know that without having someone to show me that there was a pathway, that I could have believed in it on my own. No matter how much study that you do of universal law, understanding it intellectually and living it through having someone walk you through what it looks like, what it sounds like, what it seems like, it's just not the same. And I really just can't thank you enough for being able to really help me to reframe the way that I looked at the world so that I could start that process of really being successful, not just having success.